Good evening. How are you, sir?
Good evening. I'm fine. How are you guys?
Fine.
Yes, sir, I'm fine.
Okay. So today we will start with the routing, introduction of routing. So what are the things that we are gonna cover today? First thing, that is intro to the routing. Then we will discuss about the virtual routers. Then we will discuss about the static routing. If we will have time, then we will do one practical on the static routing also. Okay. So these are the things that we are gonna cover today. So we will start with the introduction to the routing. So first thing that we have in the routing, basically we have two things. One is routed protocols and one is routing protocol. So can anyone tell me what is routed protocol? What is the difference between routed protocols and what is the difference between routing protocols? Anyone? Little bit. You can tell me about the routing protocols also if you don't know about the routed protocols.
First, BGP,
Okay, these are the routing.
BRGRP.
Okay,
Routed
RAP,
routing protocol.
okay,
So routing
IGP,
protocol are
BGP.
those.
okay. And what is routed protocols?
IP, EI,
Very good.
ICMP
IP. Okay.
used for encapsulation, decapsulation.
Okay, very good. So, look, this is one important question also. Okay. So, many people ask this thing also that what is the difference between routed protocol and routing protocol? So, I'm going to write some points on the routed protocols and on the routing protocol. So, it will help you to understand what is the difference between routed protocol and the routing protocols. So basically, routed protocols are those protocols in which our actual data is transferred. Okay. So routed protocols are those protocols. If I have to write something, I can write it. Okay. Just a second.
So basically, it is a path, right?
Yes. Look, we have a signs now in the like in the roads. We have a signs like
Right, right.
you have to go here, you have to go there. So they are, you can say that they are the signs. Okay, but actual in the Google map we have a proper path that you have to go from here. This is the best path. We have multiple paths. Okay,
Best
to
route.
reach, yes, to reach the destination. Okay, so this whole path we can say it is a routing protocol to just understand it. Okay, you will not say this example in the interview. Just for your understanding, you can understand it like this: the symbols which are or the signs which are on the road, they are the routed protocols, and the path which is shown on your map services like Google Maps and all, they have a proper destination or they have a 3 to 4 paths to reach a particular destination. So these whole paths are what? Routing protocols. Okay, I'm writing some points so it will help you to understand clearly what routed protocols and what yeah, it is not working. So first we will discuss is routed protocol. So basically, we can say that routed protocols are the actual data that is transferred from one router to another router. You can note also this thing, okay? They are important. For example, some example of routed protocols. One of you gave the answer, that is IP, which is our internet protocol. We have two types of IPs. One is IP version 4 and one is IP version 6.
Version 6.
Okay. So one more point that we can add it here, that routed protocol is used to send user data from uh, in the short form I am writing it. It is used to send user data from one network to the another network. And routing protocols, which type of data it carries? We can give examples like it carries user traffic, such as we can say emails, whatever the files we want to transfer. If you are using it, okay, web traffic and all those things. And this routed protocols, also known as network protocol. Why it is known as network protocol? Because here we can say that it is used between routers to direct user traffic. Okay, so routed protocol have one more name, that is network protocol. Okay, and now we have routing protocol. Most of you guys know what routing protocols is, but for a proper definition, I'm gonna write some points. For example, routing protocols is used by routers to exchange information about known networks. Okay, if a router has a network which have its path, or we can say basically the network's information in its routing table, then it can, or it will use that path, particular path, to transfer or to exchange the particular information, whatever information we want to transfer. Okay, so initially when we haven't enabled any routing protocols, okay, like OSPF, here we don't implement EIGRP in the Palo Alto, EIGRP, BGP, whatever the routing protocols, if we haven't configured the static routing also. So at the starting, both the routers, okay, if there are two routers, so they will only know the directly connected network. Okay, so we can say that routers initially know the initially know the existence of directly connected networks. Okay, and with the use of this routing protocols, what is the role of the routers? That with the use of this routing protocols, routers communicate and learn about whatever the network information others routers have. So For example, in the routing protocols, we can give example like RIP, version 2, OSPF, BGP, and all those things. Okay. So in the routing, we have one table. Okay. That table is routing is basically divided into three sections. One is static routing, one is default routing, and one is dynamic routing. If you guys have already done CCNA, then you guys know what this thing is. Okay. So today we will discuss about static routing. Okay. And this dynamic routing is divided into two sections. Okay. Basically, it has three sections. Okay. Not here. In the after this, one is our IGP and other is EGP. IGP stands for Interior Gateway Protocol and EGP stands for Exterior Gateway Protocol. Please mute your mic, guys. So in the EGP, we have a path vector. In that, we have only one protocol. We call it as BGP. And in the Interior Gateway Protocol, we have here two sections. That is distance vector routing, and another one is link state routing. So can anyone give me the example of link state routing?
OSPF,
OSPF.
OSPF,
IFS,
very good. And in the distance vector routing,
RIP.
RIP. And we have on the other like on the other vendors like Cisco, we have advanced distance vector routing in which what comes? EIGRP.
EIGL.
Basically, EIGRP is both link state and distance vector routing. It is kind of, we can also call it as a hybrid routing. Okay. Hybrid routing protocol. So just leave it right now for this. So there is one important thing that is connected. Okay. So whatever the interfaces which are, if we have configured one IP address on a particular interface, then we say it is directly connected to the that particular firewall. So all the interfaces that are configured in the firewall will belong to this category, that is connected. Okay. And if we have configured /32 interface on the firewall, okay, then it will not be considered as a connected. Okay. And if we have like any interface in which we have /32, okay, it will be considered, if it will not be considered as a directly connected, then it will be considered as host. Okay. And remember one thing, I think yesterday also I have told you that on the routers we can configure loopback, like I will show you this also. Loopback like anything with any subnet mask with /24 /25, it will not show any error. But in the real scenarios, loopback will always be /32. Okay. So let me just show you that how we can configure all this thing. It is lagging. So it will take time around 4 minutes. Till then, we will discuss about the static routing. So guys, can you give me some points on the static routing? What do you understand by static routing? Any points? 1, 2, 3 points?
We have to manually configure static route.
Yes, we have to. What are we? What are we here? In the technical terms, how can we define the
Admin,
we here?
Router,
No, no,
IP.
we. You
router
say,
interface, router interface.
no, no, you say we configure
admin have to
manually. Administrator,
admin.
very good. So whenever you say that we configure manually, who is we here? He is the administrator. So we say here, we can say here that administrator, what he does, he manually inputs all the routing table information.
Admin should know the destination IP address.
Yes, we can say that administrator should know the destination IP address. Tell me more. It will tell you the exact location of the routes to reach the
Destination.
REACH to reach the destination. And what are the what is the best advantage of this static routing?
So AD
High
value is 1.
security.
Okay, AD
If
value
you
is
are
1.
one-to-one connection,
High security.
It is not the best. We can say that it is a point that its AD value is 1. Okay, more point that CPU utilization will
is
be
less.
less. Okay, and it is easy to configure on the smaller networks only. Okay, easy to configure on the smaller networks. And it is highly secure because no packets are generated of the routing protocol, so there is no chance of capturing those packets. We can say that it is highly secure and it use low resource or resources.
Less bandwidth is required.
Very good. This is why next point you just said it. It requires less bandwidth, but only on the small network. Okay. We are just talking about here the smaller network. We don't use static routing on the larger networks. Why?
Admin burden.
Yes, burden on the administrator. And one more point. We can write it on the disadvantages. That
We have to configure
burden,
one
it will
by
be a
one.
burden on the administrator. Okay. And one more biggest point, if there is a change in the network, then we have to manually configure everything. Okay. That is the biggest disadvantage of this static routing. Okay. And you guys have said that AD value of static routing is what?
One.
1.
One.
It is for the Cisco. Okay. In the Palo Alto firewall, by default, AD value is 10. Okay. I will show you all these things. What are the AD values of different things? Now, next thing we have is, let me just show you that. Let us try to access it first. Okay, it's working. Show interface management. Okay, yesterday have I showed you that how we can configure the interface? 192.162.129. Did I show yesterday that how can we configure on
Yes.
interface IP address? Okay. So let us configure some IP addresses. Okay. So here I will take 192.168.1.1/24 for this interface. For this, I will take 1.2, and for this let us take 1.10, and for this let us take 2.10. Okay, and we will create some loopbacks on these routers also. I will explain that why we are creating these loopbacks and all. So here I'm gonna create 2.2.2. Here I'm gonna create 11.11.11.11, and here I'm gonna take 1.1.1.1. So today what we are gonna do, we will see some configuration that how we can communicate this network with this and this network with this, okay, with the help of static routing. So before that, okay, first thing, let me just show you that how we can configure the IP address on the Palo Alto interfaces. So first thing that what we are gonna do, we'll see that what is the interface. It is E1/1, and it is on the inside zone. So let us create two zones. Here we have two zones, inside and outside. So how we can configure these zones? Can anyone explain me the steps to configure these zones?
There are two options. One directly go to the zone.
Sorry?
There are two options.
Hmm.
One directly go to the zone.
Hmm.
Zone
No, I am
protection.
asking that how we can create the zones.
Okay. You can use add option there
Yes,
in the below.
we will go into the add, and
Right.
I have two zones, inside and outside. What I have to write in the
Outside.
name section? We can basically give any name, but here we have mentioned that I want two zones.
Inside.
One is inside and one is outside. Okay, so I've created two. I'm creating two zones, inside and outside. Okay, then we will go into the interface. But before that, I have told you that by default, the ICMP services, or we can say the ping services, are blocked on the firewall. So if I want to enable that services, Then what is the in which tab I have to go? What I have to configure first? We have discussed about this in yesterday class. And I have shared the steps also, that how we can configure that and what is that. Interface. There is one more thing. Interface, yeah, interface is this, na? We call that as interface management. Here you will go into the network, then you will go into the interface management. Okay, I will show you that we can create it from interfaces also. Okay, their section. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna allow the ping service. Okay, so you can give any name. Okay, just for our remembrance, we are giving it name which is useful for our purpose. Okay, so you can give any name here. So I'm giving ping here, and I am selecting this ping. In that particular checkbox, I'm selecting ping. Then you have to just click on the okay. So what we have done till now, we have created two zones. One is inside and outside, and we have created one management profile, that is for the ping. So from here you can see that we have created two zones. Now we will go into the interface. So as here in the topology, we can see our interface is E1/1. Okay, so we will go into this Ethernet 1/1. In the comment section, you can give anything. It is not necessary to fill this. Now we need it as a layer 3. So I am writing it as a layer 3. We have a virtual router concept. I will tell you what this virtual router is after some time. Right now we are just selecting it as default, and this will be my inside zone, and I'm gonna create the IP address. What is the IP address we have to give here? 192.168.1.10. What is the subnet mask? /24. And how we can implement that management profile in this particular interface? If you guys remember, can anyone tell me how we can add the management profile in the interface? Because if we will not add the management profile in the particular interface, on that particular interface, ping service will not work. So how we can add that management profile in the particular interface? I've told you guys that I will ask questions. Anyone?
On a layer 3, when you click on advanced,
We will go into the advanced.
for management port, right?
We will go into
Management interface, right?
don't say management interface. We want to add the management profile here
Okay.
on the interface, our regular interfaces. Now where I have to go? Just look into the screen. You will see. You'll be able to tell. I have to add the management profile. Can you see any box here with the name management profile? And it is right in
There
front
empty
of you.
above empty.
Yes, above MTU, we have a management profile, and we have created one management
We have
profile
to
with the
select.
name. Yes, and we have created a management profile with the name of ping. So it will show here. We'll just click on this. Now we have to just select it. Okay. Okay, so we have created one interface. Okay, now our next interface is E1/2. For that we have IP 192.168.2.10. So just tell me the steps that how will I configure this E1/2. I've just configured on the E1/1. Just tell me the steps what I have to do.
First, you have to if you want to give the same management interface,
Yes,
just
first,
click on that.
yes, after that,
Select type, interface type,
yes, on the interface type,
then layer 3, because
layer
we have to
3,
configure on layer 3 only.
yes, after
Then
that,
click on advanced.
okay, we are going to
Virtual
the advanced.
route is yeah,
Okay, on the virtual router, what I have to do? I have to create default.
default.
And after that,
Uh, Security zone, once click.
security zone.
We
Outside,
have to
outside.
select inside,
Very good. Outside.
providing outside. Right?
Okay.
So
After that,
Then
I
go to
will.
the IP4.
Yes.
advanced,
Adv
add,
add, not advance. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So what is the IP?
192,
192.168.2.10.
2.1. Right.
10.10.10. Okay. 2.10. After
Advanced,
that,
Then go to
I
the
will go into the
advanced,
advanced
management profile.
connect,
management
Then
profile.
take
ping,
ping.
Then take pick. Then I will
okay,
click OK. Okay. And there is here now one more thing. If you want to just manually, you want that it should get IP from the DHCP
automatically.
server, then click on the DHCP client. If you want this triple PoE, leave it. It is for the ISP purpose. Okay. Just leave it and you have to just click OK. Tell me one thing, why it is still showing green? We have configured everything. Why it is still showing, sorry, gray. Why it is still showing gray? It should be green now.
Interface shut.
Interface shut. Where do I have to write interface shut? In the link state, it is auto. It should be configured. Are we missing anything?
Commit.
Very good. We have to commit. Okay. Sorry, what issue? We have to commit. I've told you, na, it will not implement anything until you just commit it. Okay. After committing it, it will just come up. I think I haven't increased the RAM of this Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. So now our interfaces are green. If our interfaces are green, it means they are up. Okay. And we can see all these things on the, it is not showing here. So if I want my interface section to come up here on my dashboard, what I have to do? This is, I think, our second, on the first or second lecture, we have done this. Can anyone tell me that how we can add? Where do I
Widget.
have to go? Widgets. Very good. On the widgets, then
Application.
can you,
Interface.
yes, very good. Interfaces. Now here we have total number. How many interfaces we have? 24 interfaces. And these two interfaces are up, which is our E1/1 and E1/2. Okay. So what we have done right now, we have configured two interfaces, E1/1 and E1/2. Management, it is getting IP from our this network. Okay. Now I have to configure IP addresses on the these R3 and R4. You guys will tell me the command for the routers to configure the IP addresses. So let us start this. Let us see the interface of R3 and R4. Both are E0/0. So tell me the command, guys. How to configure
First,
IP address on the
type enable,
enable
config
config.
T,
config
Okay.
terminal, then
After that,
interface, F,
interface,
sorry, E0/0,
IP
then
address,
IP
IP
address.
address,
subnet mask,
subnet mask, 255, 255,
255.
no 255, no shut, exit.
No shut.
Okay. So if I want to look that what is the IP that we have configured, what was the command?
Show IP interface.
Do show IP in BR. Okay. So from here we can see that our status and protocol both are up. We have configured the IP address, and I want to create two loopbacks also. So how can I create the two loopbacks? What was the command?
Interface.
Loopback,
Interface loopback 1 IP address
IP address,
1.1.1. Here we can give any subnet mask. We will not find any issue. And here, if I want to configure, have we configured the IP address? No, no. Okay, so here we have configured the IP on the interface and one loopback address. Okay, now I want, can I able to ping 192.168.1.2 to the 1.1?
Yes.
We have to introduce.
I'm able to ping. Am I able to ping 1.1.1.1 with the help of router 4?
No.
Why? If I am able to ping, then why?
You
If
have
I
to
am not able
introduce.
to ping, then why?
Those ports are not connected directly to that router, so we have to introduce those ports to the router,
Okay.
those network.
Yes, you will say that that 1.1.1 network is not present in our in router force routing table. If I will check do show IP route, sorry, do show IP route. So here we can see we don't have the network for 1.1.1.0's network. So how am I gonna configure the static route? What was the command? Okay, let us see
IP
that.
route.
Okay, let us do one more
Uh,
thing. Am I able to ping our firewall's interface that is 1.10? Yes. Okay, let me show you one more thing. Okay, let's take a SSH of this firewall. So how am I gonna take the SSH of the firewall? Tell me. I've told you this thing also.
Select the
Port
SSH
number 22.
Select SSH.
Port
Port
number
number
port,
22.
port
22.
number.
SSH.
I am selecting SSH.
SSH.
Should I open it?
IP mention of firewall interface.
Okay, what is the IP?
1.10, I think.
1.10, the IP is of this interface. Which interface IP should I have to put it here?
1.10.
Array, I have told you na 1.10 IP is of this interface. I have to put IP of management port. Okay. So what was the management port's IP? That is this is the IP 192.168.2.129. Okay. This is the management IP address. Okay. What is the command to check the management IP address from the CLI?
Show interface management.
Very good. Show interface management.
Interface management.
192.168.1.129. It's 1 dot or 2 dot?
2 dot.
2.129. What is the default password, login and password for
Admin.
the
Admin.
admin and
Admin.
admin?
Admin.
Okay. So what was I was going to do here? Okay. So if I will ping here, what is the command to ping
Ping
on the
and the
firewall?
destination IP address.
Ping, then
Destination IP address.
Host.
destination IP address. If I will just directly write it like this, na, it will show you invalid. We have to
Uh,
put host here.
host.
192.168.1.1. It is pinging.
So in Palo Alto, we have to use host.
Yes, in Palo Alto, we have to use the host. And tell me if I will try to ping 1.1.1.1, will I be able to ping or not?
Not.
Not. It is pinging. Why?
They are exchanging their routing tables.
No, no, no. Because it is pinging from the management. Okay.
Management. Okay.
To the DNS, we have also IP on the DNS, na 1.1.1.1. If I will write it here like this, ping source, and in the source, if I will try to ping with 192.168.1.10, which is our E1/1. Now I am trying to ping from this interface. Will it ping host 1.1.1.1? Will it ping?
Check once.
Check once. You tell me, na? Arey, same routing concepts we have here.
So it will ping because of the management.
Arey, no. Now we are using the source, na? It will now ping from here with this IP 192.168.1.10 from this interface. This firewall doesn't have any routes, na? To 1.1.1.
Yeah.
How should we? It will not ping. Okay. So it will
So
not show
because
you any error here. You will just, if you press Control C, you can see it has generated 5 packets, transmitted 0, received nothing, 100% packet loss. Okay. Right now it is not pinging. So what we have to do, we have to implement the static routing here.
static
Okay.
route.
So we will configure static routing on the firewall. Before implementing the static routing, let us do some theory part. Okay. Let us complete the theory part of default routing. What do you guys understand by default routing?
We have to introduce our router
Zero.
which port
Zero, 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 I think.
Okay, very good. 0000.
to anyone.
Anything, any other point?
It's a gateway of last resort whenever
Very good.
route isn't
It is the
match. Any
gateway
route
for the
isn't match.
last
Plus,
resort. Why do we say this line?
whenever any route isn't found in routing table, then we have go with the last resort gateway default route.
Yes, default. We use default route, or we can define it like that. Define it like that. That default route is
Unsecured.
network route, which is used by the device when there are, or we can say when there is no other known what
Network.
Destination.
network.
Network.
Mm,
Destination.
okay, we say it here routes. Okay, when there are no particular routes. If it doesn't have any particular routes, then it will use the default path. Okay, for whichever network or from whichever prefix the packet will come. If it will check in its routing table, if it doesn't have any route but it has a default route, then it will send that all the route towards a particular device. Okay, so we can say this method where all routers are configured to send all packets towards a single device. Okay, next thing, the theory part we have is dynamic routing. First, tell me what is dynamic routing. What do you understand by dynamic routing? Then tell me the advantages of this dynamic routing.
It uses protocols which automatically exchange routes, and whenever the network goes down, it automatically
Okay,
removes it.
good.
We have
So,
to
so we can say that in this, or yes, in this protocol, it dynamically respond to changes in the
Topology.
network. You can say topology, but network is preferable. Okay. So here routing protocol is configured on each device. Okay. And device will learn about, we can say that routing protocols are configured on each and every devices so that they can learn about each other. What they learn about each other?
Their routing tables.
Just a second, it's not. Why it is lagging? Their routing table. Okay. So examples like RIP, OSPF, BGP and all. Okay. So, and one advantage, tell me two, three advantages.
Administrator burden is low.
Administrator burden is low.
Yes.
Okay, if you have worked on the BGP environment,
For large
the
network.
burden on the administrator is low or high?
For BGP environment, it's high.
It is very high, na? So don't say this. We can say this, okay? But in reality,
We
the
don't
burden on
have
the
to worry
administrator
about the
is very
sensitivity.
much. Okay. So
Implemented
here
in
we
larger
can say,
networks.
yes, it is used for the larger network. It is used for the larger network
And easy to
and
configure.
it is easy to configure. No, it is not easy to configure.
Highly
Automatically.
scalable.
Yes, we can say it is scalable. And there is one important point that if our link goes down, then what it does? Then
It removes.
it will either automatically, I'm not writing it, then it will either automatically select a best route or it will update to the rest of the topology. Okay. Why it is necessary to update the rest of the topology that my link has been down?
Because topology change.
Look,
So that other router doesn't forward
very
data
good.
towards it.
Toward that particular destination. What will happen? Suppose, yeah, suppose we have three routers here. Okay. Now we have a PC here. Suppose the link of this goes down. Suppose it is of 10.0. This prefix has been down. Okay. But it has shared the route to these routers. That is router 1, router 2, router 3. And there is one LAN user. Suppose on the 30s network. So it has the routes of 10s network and it also has the route for 10 network and it is sending some packets. So this router 1 will forward towards router 2 and this router 2 will forward towards router 3. But router 3 knows that my this link is down for this particular network. So it will drop those packets here. So data loss will be, chances of data loss will be high. That's why it is mandatory or compulsory to send the update messages of whatever the link is down. And what do you understand by administrative distance?
Hops count will be there.
Hops count.
Trustworthiness of our
Okay. Yes,
Trustworthiness,
trustworthiness. And we can
best
say
route,
it is used to very good. It is used to select best route, or we
best
can say
route,
the path.
path,
Okay. And it defines the reliability of particular whatever the routing protocol. The lower the number, more reliable
more reliable.
routing protocol. And what is the range of this AD value?
0 to 255.
In the Palo Alto, it is 0 to 240. Okay. Does AD value is locally significant, or it is globally significant? AD
Locally
value
significant.
is locally significant, or we can say AD has a locally significance, anything significant. Correct the spelling, okay?
What is
Locally
the meaning of that
significant,
line?
and it is not advertised on the
Update.
update of what?
Network.
Routing updates. Okay.
Routing update.
It is not advertised on the routing updates. Why it is not advertised on the routing updates?
Locally significant.
Because it is locally significant. Okay. So I am telling you some details, like in the static. Okay. It is different from the other domains. Okay. Other vendors. In Cisco, it is different. In the Palo Alto, it is different. Okay. It is also mentioned on the GUI also. I will show you where you can see. But for the just knowledge purpose, the static AD value of static is 10. For the OSPF internal, I'm just writing I. For the OSPF internal, it is 30. For the OSPF external, it is 110. For the IBGP, it is
200,
200. Very good. For the EBGP,
20.
20.
it is 20. For the RIPA, it is
120.
120.
120. Okay. There is one more concept of route metric. What do you understand by route metric? Arey, scroll nahi ho raha. Just a second. I think we have to take a note.
Used to find best path.
Basically, we can say that it is same
For
as,
calculation,
yes, for the calculation purpose. This metric has one more name. We call it also as cost. Okay.
For
It
cost,
BGP.
is
For SP.
it is basically similar to AD. Okay. Which is basically, arey, just a second. Let me open a new page. So they have na ranges. This route metric have ranges. So in the static route matrix, it has a range from 1265535. Okay. For everything, it has different. For the OSPF also, it is also 1265535. For the BGP, it is very much high from 0 to 429496, like this number. Okay. It is also mentioned there. We can change it or we cannot. Now, there is name of the routing table. Okay. So here, the name of the routing table is RIB. So this RIB is basically, what is the full form of RIB?
Route information base.
Routing information base. So
Yeah.
this RIB is a basically a
Instance of
Palo Alto
Routing.
firewall term. In this Cisco, it is also there. Okay. But here we say that it is a Palo Alto firewall term, which basically means RIB stands for the routing information base. So whatever all the routes information will go into the RIB. All the routers, or we can say all the routes that are learned at the first place, will go into that RIB. Okay. If I want to see on the Palo Alto firewall, we have taken the access now. So if अरे कौन सा वाला है? Okay. So for that, if I want to check the routing command, for that we have a command as show routing. Show routing. Either we can write it here, show routing route. Basically, we haven't configured any routes here. Okay. When I will configure, then I will show you. So it will tell you about some information like uh, its next hop, which type of routing protocols we are using. Same process as of Cisco. But this here we have all the routings, all the routes information. So it should have one more table in which it will have the best route. So that table we call as FIB, which stands for forwarding
Information.
information base. So basically, in the forwarding information base, it will have the best routes. Okay. Now we have a next concept is of virtual routers. Why do we need virtual routers? I will share one PDF about this virtual routers also. Okay. So that you can know the detail of this virtual router. So for the knowledge purpose, just remember that we create policies on the firewall. Okay. But we need also this firewall to work as a router also. We want that it should know the routing protocols. It should know how to route one sorry, it should know that how to route one packet to the another network, from one network to another network. It should know the routes. So for that it needs routers concept. So that router concepts are there in the virtual routers. That's why it is compulsory to implement or to add the virtual routers on the layer 3 interfaces, right? I've told you this now, that on the layer 3 interfaces it is mandatory to implement the virtual routers and the security zone. We have to mention the security zones also. Now let us configure our static routing. So first tell me what is the command on the Cisco routers to implement the static routing. This is our router 1, router 3 and router 4. Can anyone tell me?
On configuration mode, IP route, network, subnet mask, next hop.
What is the network?
Um,
Suppose I am configuring this on the router 3.
Source IP address.
So here I will use 2.2.0's IP address, the destination one. Please mute your mic. 255.255.0. Now I will write down. Right now, I'm giving it exit interface. Either we can give the exit interface or the next hop address. Okay. Can you tell me what are the problems we can see on the exit interface and what are the problems we will see on the next hop address in the static routing?
if we configure only next hop, there is a problem of recursive lookup.
Very good. If we configured only the next hop address, oh sorry, yes, next hop address, then we can see the problem of recursive lookup.
Recursive
What do you understand by recursive lookup?
lookup 2 times routing table.
That it checks its routing table more than one time. Okay. If it is checking its routing table more than one time, what is the problem?
Recursive
Recursive lookup is the name we have given it. What is the problem?
CPU and
Very good. CPU
utilization.
utilization will be high. Suppose we have thousands of routes on a particular router. If it is checking thousands of routes again, then CPU utilization will be high. If CPU utilization will be high, then we can able to see the congestion, latency, okay, and it will use more bandwidth, and all these problems we will face. Okay, and what is the problem with the exit interface? If I will just write, very good, the proxy hub concept. Okay, I'm not explaining all this thing, I'm just telling you. So that's why it is preferable to use both these things, the exit interface and the next hop address. Right now we can use anything. I'm using the exit interface, which is E0/0. So will I able to ping 2.2.2.0 this loopback of R4? Will I able to ping?
Yes.
Yes. Good. Now I want to configure on the R4. What I want to configure on the R4? Same thing. IP route 1.1. Sorry. Okay. So they both are pinging. Now, if I will try to ping R3 to R4, sorry, not R4, the Palo Alto, it was pinging na. That time it was pinging na. So now if I will take source, here, what is the command? Okay, leave it. We will do from Palo Alto. So let me create one loopback on the Palo Alto also. I will go here. How we can create loopback? Okay, no, loopback will not work here. Okay, because it will only use /32 and we use it for the VPN purpose. So what we are going to use, we will create one VLAN here of, suppose this VLAN is not properly concept like in the switch. It is kind of a SVI. Okay, so here I'm going to create one VLAN. I'm going to name it 10 Virtual router, I have to give it default security zone. I'm gonna need inside on the IP. I'm gonna write 5.5.5 slash 24. Advanced, I want the ping service also enable here. So I have to create it like this. Just commit it. Now, if I want my router 3 to communicate with the 5.5.5, will it be able to communicate? Will it be able to communicate? 5.5.5. It will not able to communicate because we don't have any routes. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm gonna do the static routing. Please look carefully that how we can configure the static route. So you have to go into the network tab, then click on the virtual routers. Okay, here by default we have this virtual router. I'm not creating any other. So on this default, I'm creating the static route. Okay. So tomorrow we are gonna discuss about that how we can configure RIP and OSPF. So in the static route, what we have to do, we have to just click on the static route. We can give any name, like I'm giving it name as suppose X X. Okay, and then click on the add. So here on the name, I am giving it as like any name we can give. For example, mm, LAN. In the destination, I have to ping. Earlier, it was not pinging from this 192.168.1.10. Na? So I'm gonna make it able to ping 1.1 with the 192.168, that particular whatever the interface. So here in the interface, you will write the interface. Select the interface. My interface is 1/1. This one interface. Okay. So you have to add that interface. And in the next hop, what is the next hop?
1.1.
1.1 is the next hop. Here, what is the next hop? If I have to ping 1.1.1.1, what is the next hop for this Palo Alto firewall?
192.168.1.1.
Very good. 192.168.1 dot. We have same concepts na of routers. Just here we are doing it graphically. So this is the administrative distance, metric value, all these things. BFD, just skip it. Do you know what is BFD? Why do we use BFD?
No.
So here we have configured one static route. Just click OK. Okay. Okay. So we have used the host name, host IP here. You have to use the network ID. And here I have selected the subnet mask. You don't need subnet mask here. Okay. And if I want to check the routing table, I can check it from here. Just click here. Whatever the routes we have configured statically, these are the things that we have configured. This is the forwarding table. This is a static route monitoring. Right now, there are no packets. So I have configured the static routing, but I have to commit it to implement it. Okay. Right now, my virtual router is already implemented on the interfaces. So I don't have to again implement this virtual router. Okay. So it will get automatically update on the particular interface. Now, if I will try to ping, it was R1, na? Now, if I will try to ping source 192.168.1.10 and the IP address was, sorry, I have to use the host and the IP address was 1.1.1.1. So now you can see that we are able to ping our loopback interface. That loopback interface, you can say that it is kind of a LAN network here. Okay. And what is the functionality of this loopback interfaces? That it never goes down. Okay. We can manually make it down, but by default it doesn't go down. Okay, our link can goes down because of protocol, it can goes down because of link, it can go down, but this loopbacks will not go down until our device working or we haven't manually shut down this loopback interfaces. That's why it is preferable to use loopback interfaces for the troubleshooting purpose. And we have configured one 5.5.5 here na. So if I will try to ping do ping 5.5.5, will it be able to ping? No. So what I have to do again? I have to give the
Static route.
static route towards that particular, we can say it as a SVI. So I am writing down 1.10. So now you can see it is able to ping. So this is the basic configuration of static routing. It has the same concepts, same routing, administrative distance, just a little bit. Like here, the AD value of static routes are what? 1 na. If I want to check only the route, if have to check the routing table, we have this do show IP route. If I just want to see the particular like static routes information, for that we have a command do show IP route static. So like this we can see that here on the R3 we have configured 2's network, 5's network and all these networks. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. In the tomorrow session, we will configure some other dynamic routing protocols like RIP and OSPF. And please do practical of static routing. If you have configured the Eve, install the Eve on your devices. Okay. So basically, you need minimum of 12 GB, 12 to 16 GB RAM. Okay. For these type of configurations on your devices. Okay. And i5 or AMD Ryzen 5600 will work if you want to work it smoothly. Okay. Otherwise, it will create a problem. But we have that particular mm, racks also. Okay. There you can directly take access. You don't have to install these machines on your device. Okay. So it will not be burden on your devices. So these are the things. Okay. And I will share the Palo Alto image also today. Yesterday my laptop was down. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. Any questions you want to ask?
Hello,
Yes.
sir. May I know why EIGRP has a link state routing feature? What is the feature of link state as EIGRP?
Have you done the CCNA?
Yes,
They haven't told you?
they tell because they tell EIGRP maintain topology table or they first create neighborship to share exchange routes.
Okay, do one homework. What is the difference between EIGRP and OSPF? Okay, you will know the answer. And why and what is the drawback of the RIP also? Okay, what is
Okay,
the drawback of RIP also? You will get many answers by understanding these three protocols, na? How these three protocols work, you will get all the answers.
okay,
Okay. Okay, I will tell you one more thing. Uh, Understand how EIGRP maintains the routing table. Okay,
hmm,
understand it. Those tables. EIGRP has three tables. Okay, neighbor table, topology table, and the normal routing table. And OSPF also has the three tables. Okay, understand
yes,
how these three tables works. And what is the algorithm EIGRP use? What is the algorithm OSPF uses? And what is the drawback of using RIP?
okay,
And obviously you have to see the states and messages also. And in the OSPF, learn the concepts of these LSA types. There are some LSA types, na?
yes, yes,
So just go through type till type 5 LSAs. Okay, that will be enough. Type 7 LSA also you can do. Okay, type 5
okay,
you can skip type 6, type 1 to type 5, and type 7 LSA. Okay, other LSAs 8, 9, 10, 11 are not necessary.
okay.
Okay. Mm,
Thank you.
okay. Bye bye, guys. Good night. Take care.
Bye. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Can we have old videos? Yes, management. They are uploading the videos. Okay, I think they have uploaded one video today. Okay, they will update all the videos soon. Maybe tomorrow they will update one more video. Okay, guys. So today I will share the links of the images. Okay, on the group I will share the link. You can install the. Please learn how to use WinSCP. I've already told you. You can find it on the Google and YouTube also that how you can install the images. Okay. So bye bye guys.